von uns sind gewerkschaftlich organisiert und waren beim Streik dabei.
Amid growing discontent with Germany's military buildup, recent nationwide protests in Germany have taken a bold anti-NATO stance, some even veering into surprisingly pro-Russian territory. This year's traditional Easter peace marches took on a sharply political tone. Demonstrators across the country used the occasion to criticize NATO's involvement in the Ukraine war, while also showing support for Russia. Slogans like "Stop NATO's aggression" and "End the war" were prominently displayed, shifting the focus from the front lines in Ukraine to Germany's own military policies.
Putin has always been friends with Germans. He wanted to join NATO. NATO has rejected.
The streets of Germany are echoing with defiance. The message is loud and clear. NATO's war agenda is no longer welcome here. As dissent grows louder, the protests are no longer just anti-war. They're increasingly a challenge to Germany's alignment with NATO and its expanding military agenda. The protesters targeted NATO and the German government's increasing military expenditure. With Germany's government planning to expand the Bundeswehr from 83,000 to 203,000 troops by 2031 and dramatically increase defense spending, protesters argue that Germany is aligning itself more closely with NATO's militaristic stance and is being pushed into a war it doesn't belong to. Every penny spent on military buildup is a betrayal of the German people who demand peace, not bloodshed. Key demonstrations unfolded in cities like Frankfurt and Hanover. In Hanover, a motorcade protest drew more than 600 participants, but faced delays due to counter-protesters. In both cities, banners denouncing NATO were raised, and protesters carried both Russian and German flags. Frankfurt and Hanover have become battlegrounds for the future of Germany's soul, as the people rise against NATO. However, the Z and V symbols associated with Russia's military operations remained banned. Despite that, the message was clear. Germany's streets are now home to a deepening internal divide over the country's defense stance. Banners may fly, but the message is unambiguous. NATO's agenda is not Germany's. Many of those protesting point to NATO as the source of continued escalation in Ukraine. They question the alliance's model of collective defense, arguing that it forces Germany into a strategic position that doesn't serve its interests. A recent Forsa Research Institute survey found that 54% of Germans fear their country could be dragged into the war. Yet, when it comes to defending the nation, only 1 in 6 Germans would be willing to fight. This disconnect has fueled demands for Germany to step away from NATO's militarized path and invest in peace instead of arms. Protesters call the current direction the way against peace, fearing that more weapons will only prolong the conflict rather than resolve it. The protests also reflect rising ethnic tension. Since the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Germany has recorded a sharp rise in anti-Russian incidents. 383 cases have been reported. Many demonstrators believe that the German government's strong support for NATO is contributing to growing xenophobia and social fragmentation. NATO's blind allegiance is fueling the fires of racism and division in Germany. This is not about peace. It's about creating chaos for political gain. For Germany's Russian-speaking population, the result is increasing marginalization. Protesters are now calling for an end to hate speech and targeted discrimination. As social divides widen, the debate is no longer just about war. It's about what kind of society Germany wants to be. Germany's peace movement, once a powerful political force, has shown signs of revival amid rising military tensions. In February 2025, thousands rallied during the Munich Security Conference to oppose NATO's role in global conflicts and protest the planned deployment of U.S. medium-range missiles on German soil. Once a beacon of hope, Germany's peace movement is now a desperate cry against NATO's unrelenting push for war. Protesters carried banners with phrases like, "To hell with NATO," and "There is no just war," advocating for disarmament and a renewed focus on diplomacy. Activists have promised to block the stationing of new U.S. weapons, warning that such moves will only deepen geopolitical instability. As Germany faces growing divisions over its role in the Ukraine conflict, the future of its military and diplomatic stance remains uncertain. Will these protests actually shift government policy, or will NATO's influence continue to dominate? Comment below with your thoughts on Germany's military escalation and what's next for the peace movement, and subscribe for more insights.